twins.
Impossible.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're looking at the most stranger-than-fiction facts about Disney's cult classic, The Emperor's New Groove. Spoilers to come.
I'm telling a story, and what you've done here, you've taken out the two lines that encapsulate the whole thing.
It was originally titled Kingdom of the Sun. It seems strange that this animated film was ever going to be something completely different.
This is his story. Well, actually my story. That's right, I'm that llama. The name is Kuzco.
Fresh off his Lion King triumph, director Roger Allers was tapped to direct an animated film based on the indigenous cultures of South America. Allers chose the Incan Empire in modern-day Peru, and thus Kingdom of the Sun was born.
When I pitched the original story that I'd cooked up to Michael Eisner, he said it has all the elements of a classic Disney film.
Beginning development in 1994, the film would focus on the Incan creation myth, focusing on a selfish emperor and a humble peasant that change places, Prince and the Pauper style, and fall in love with each other's respective love interests. Meanwhile, the villain Yzma plans to destroy the sun and stay young and beautiful forever. Unfortunately, this conception was short-lived, as we shall see.
And there's Yzma. It's so perfect, I can't believe what's happened. I've just turned Manco into a llama. There's a dummy emperor in his place.
Sting wrote a whole slew of songs that were ultimately scrapped. For the film's soundtrack, following the success of Elton John's work in The Lion King, Allers hired Sting.
My only concern ever about Sting had been, is he too sophisticated? His music is very complex, and would it be able to integrate well into an animated story?
Sting took the project at once, but only agreed to write songs if his wife Trudy could film the process in a documentary, eventually called The Sweatbox. Sting wrote 8 songs for the Kingdom of the Sun. Yzma especially got a fun villain song, Snuff Out the Light, and even a reprise of Perfect World.
Put an end to my frustration. Now this perfect world begins and ends with moi. What's my name?
There was at least one love song, but as the film changed drastically in tone, most of these songs were cut. Poor Sting tried to quit several times, but the team refused his resignation letters. Sting did get an Oscar nomination for My Funny Friend and Me, so that's something at least.
But that unusual blend of my funny friend and me.
Dindal versus Allers. It was producer Randy Fulmer who sounded the alarm on Kingdom of the Sun. The story was so convoluted that it took Fulmer the whole airplane trip from New York to Los Angeles to explain it to a fellow passenger.
Our job is to make a film that is really entertaining, interesting storyline, but not too complex.
There were also problems with the slow pacing. After the underperformance of ambitious Disney films like Pocahontas and The Hunchback of Notre Dame, the producers decided a change in tone was needed. Fulmer thus hired Mark Dindal as co-director to pare it down.
He's really had a lot of time to think about what the movie's going to be and a lot of time to picture it in his head. So a lot of the time has just been spent trying to get up to speed with what he's thinking.
The result was 2 teams, one working with Allers on a Disney epic, and one working with Dindal on a buddy comedy. The winner was Dindal. Allers understood the decision, but was heartbroken at the loss of his film.
The ghost went out of one corpse and went into another body and is walking around looking very different. So it's not like the whole thing completely died. There's this sort of other thing that's continuing on.
Happy Meal deadline. Part of what complicated Kingdom of the Sun's production was the very short turnaround. Disney had made promotion deals with McDonald's and Coca-Cola that needed to be fulfilled in the summer of 2000. By 1998, the project's budget had ballooned up to $30 million.
We have a year and a half now to do the film, so it's not a time for faint hearts. We've got to have a plan, and we've got to believe in that plan, stick with it, and really motor to get it done in a year and a half.
Producer Thomas Schumacher was in full panic mode, almost begging Fulmer to give him something to give to CEO Michael Eisner.
I'm going to show Michael Eisner plus Sting, the whole movie, completely for the first time. It's actually very exciting. We're like little children at the principal's office waiting to find out what the verdict is.
This pressure led to the film being stripped of its epic mythological elements and refashioned into the buddy comedy we all know and love. Thanks, McDonald's?
In honor of Disney's new movie, The Emperor's New Groove, we're putting a llama in McDonald's Happy Meals. Hello, a toy llama?
David Spade and Eartha Kitt were Kuzco and Yzma from the beginning. It is astounding to say, given the wide variety of changes the film underwent, but it is true. David Spade as Manco, eventually renamed Kuzco, and Eartha Kitt as Yzma were locked in stone from the get-go.
What happens is I have a kind of a sorceress that works with me, Eartha Kitt, Yzma. She's jealous of me, angry, bitter, and old.
Even when Yzma's original animator Andreas Deja left the project, replaced by Dale Baer, Kitt stayed on. David Spade was called to do his signature sarcastic voice for the greedy emperor. Although in the original version, he worked with the similarly young Owen Wilson as Pacha.
Wait. Listen to this. One me would do the things I don't want to do, while the other me is having fun.
Suddenly, I'm not so depressed.
When the character was reimagined as a middle-aged father, John Goodman replaced Wilson in the role. With voices as perfect as Spade's and Kitt's, we're not surprised they were retained.
I adore her because she goes after what she wants.
The original ending had Kuzco destroy a rainforest.
This organization which seems to want to take the best of different cultures, suck them up and then spit them out into something that's like a hamburger. It's really not what I want to do.
This really stung Sting. With the switch to a more comic register, the plot quickly gained elements of Looney Tunes style mayhem and merriment. One of the extra gags included an ending where a reformed Kuzco builds his Kuzcotopia on another hill, destroying a rainforest in the process.
When you've achieved genuine human values, you don't need a theme park or a water slide. I've been aware for a while now that my vision of the world and Disney's may be at odds. I can only be candid.
This change especially disturbed the environmentally conscious songwriter. Sting, who had spent 20 years fighting for indigenous rights, wrote a letter where he threatened to resign from the project if this ending were kept. Fortunately, it was scrapped for the more wholesome ending we know today. Thanks, Sting.
The movie shouldn't end with him have learned the lesson only to relocate his hideous palace. He should have learned not to make a hideous palace in the countryside. He should have, and I read it and I went, oh, this is a really good note.
Disastrous 1998 screening. The impetus for the change from Kingdom of the Sun to Emperor's New Groove has to be this one screening. There, the original film's flaws were glaring, at least to Schumacher. He gave the team some really critical notes, saying the tone was leaden and the pacing was off.
Sometimes they're pretty brutal. And we welcome that because we'd rather get the bad news early.
Moreover, it just wasn't fun. He even went so far as to say that if it hadn't been Allers' movie, he would have shut the whole thing down.
So much of the movie isn't working. I just don't know who I'm supposed to care about, what I'm watching. The pace seems really, really wacky.
Although shaken from this feedback, a professional Allers tried to modify his original pitch. Meanwhile, Dindal was brought in with a new, more comic approach. The rest is history.
It's kind of a marvel to see how this machine can function when it's up and running at full speed. Because everybody's been through the process enough, they know how to get going. And
Disney refuses to release the Sweatbox.
The big boss will look at it all and we fire us first off. And you're fired. I've never been fired before.
All throughout Kingdom of the Sun's and eventually Emperor's New Groove's troubled production was Trudy Styler, quietly documenting this behind-the-scenes drama. That's right, the original deal with Sting was faithfully kept. Some of the documentary made it into the Emperor's New Groove DVD featurette.
What I find so interesting about the cast of voices that we have is that every one of them, we could have stage play.
But the film in its entirety did receive a release at the Toronto International Film Festival in 2002, as well as 2 other short runs. This candid look into the creative process, particularly the clashes between artists and producers, was perhaps too revealing. In fact, Disney refused to give the documentary a wider release, and in essence has banned it. Sometimes it resurfaces on the internet though, if you know where to look.
And having a censor, an artistic censor, every time that I've had to go back and work it, it's better. It's gone better.
New release date and Emperor's New Grooves marketing campaign. The refashioned movie had shown much promise in early screenings, especially among younger audiences.
I think we're busying the movie up in a lot of places that it's playing really good. And like the whole
with
sound effects, music, the whole front now.
Yeah. Disney, however, was Disney. Instead of a Thanksgiving release date, they decided to move the release to December 15. Instead, Disney's live-action remake, 102 Dalmatians, would fill the Thanksgiving slot. Moreover, Kingdom of the Sun got its final title as The Emperor's New Groove, which baffled the animated team.
How do we introduce the llama portion of this? We have a title that's The Emperor's New Groove. And if you only show me a llama, there's a little bit of a disconnect.
The marketing team decided to emulate Kuzco's narcissistic attitude with certain sassy posters. But for the most part, the film didn't receive a fulsome marketing campaign compared to other Disney movies. Sure enough, despite favorable critic reviews, the film underperformed at the box office.
The lessons are profound. Why didn't I make these changes earlier? It was so painful to do it. It was expensive to change this late in the game.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
No script. One of the more bizarre aspects of Emperor's long and strange history is that in the end, there was no completed script. That's right, Sting had to write his songs completely without context.
I was writing songs in the dark, really, based on sort of hearsay of what the film was going to be. There was no hard script.
When it was retooled into the finished comedy, the production team went for a let's throw everything on the wall and see what sticks type of process. As a result, the production team didn't have a full script until after the film was released in theaters. A poor intern probably stapled a bunch of papers together just to have something to hand in.
So I'm having to second guess what sort of characters they're inventing, because I'm inventing characters as well. You know? It's their film. I mean, I'm only a minion here.
This is ironic, as the film has the best comic writing for an animated film, alongside Shrek and The Road to El Dorado. Many of its lines are now memes, and for good reason.
To the secret lab. Pull the lever, Kronk.
Do you agree with the changes that made Emperor into what it is? Or do you long for the Disney epic we could have had? Let us know in the comments down below.